In today's weather video, we're going to be talking about the severe weather threat that's going to be happening in the Midwest and Northern Plains throughout the next couple of days, and as well as the heat that has been happening across the lower 48 of the United States, and also going to be talking about a little bit about the excessive rainfall outlook for the next 5 days. And, right now across the United States, we have been having, a lot of heat stuff happening. The Midwest, Plains, Great Plains, Ozarks, Ohio River Valley, East Coast, even up to New York. We've been having a lot of heat happening. This is definitely affecting, 100 million people in this. So, heat stroke, heat exhaustion will be happening. And, every single time we see these flashing warnings, that means that new warnings have been issued. So, something that's still being issued and that's still probably going to be growing throughout the rest of today. And also, over here, we've been having our red flag warnings as wildfires could be completely possible in like Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming, very possibly happening. We do have a slight risk. We do have two areas over here in the Dakotas, a little bit of Minnesota and Montana. We could be having some, even over here in the mid Atlantic, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we could be seeing some stuff over here. So Baltimore, DC areas, we could be seeing some of that. Up here, Fargo, Grand Forks, Aberdeen, South Dakota, we could be also be seeing some stuff as well. This risk are definitely going to be our wind risk. 15% chances in both areas where the pre-existing slight risks are. And these are going to be impacting almost up to 50 million people, which does seem quite a lot for small areas, but you got to take in consideration over here. This is, Baltimore, DC, Philly areas. They are very densely populated. So we could be seeing a large amount of people could be, threatened by this severe weather. As in the hail, we are not having a big concern with it. We just do have a 5% chance over here. Again, in the Dakotas, where in the Northern Plains, could be seeing a few. It's only a 5% chance, but it still could always happen. But at least it is not going to be a big percentage at all. Now, originally, I was not going to make a video until I found out that the tornado risk has expanded. The Northern Plains this morning, there already was one, but newly within the past hour or two, places right outside Chicago, in the Illinois, Indiana place, we have been, sources show that, we could be seeing a much more tornado risk happening over towards here. So that is why I am now making this video happening. So 2% areas in the Northern Plains as well, in and around the Chicago area of Illinois and Indiana. And then for day 2, we do have a very big slight risk in Minnesota, Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, Minneapolis, Duluth, northern Wisconsin cities. We are going to need to be careful about the stuff. And we do have a much larger marginal risk surrounding that. And even a marginal risk down here in the mid-Atlantic East Coast. We could be seeing that as well. And then again, for day 2, our biggest risk will be the wind risk, which is, right where the slight risk is going to be. But with the hail threat, we are only seeing, again, that 5% chance, which is good that it's low, but that doesn't mean that hail can't happen, because it can still happen, just a very small chance. And then we also do have a 2% tornado risk that will extend down to Sioux Falls, so we do need to be partially concerned about that. Or, well, we should be really concerned about a 2% tornado outlook. And then day 3, we do have a marginal risk extending from Montana down to Wisconsin. Now, there is no defined area of slight risk. There could also be, that is very true. That can also happen as well. Now, for excessive rain, we are going to be seeing a slight risk in kind of 3 different areas. So over here in the Midwest, kind of. Over here in Pennsylvania, specifically central western Pennsylvania. As well as over here towards the Adirondacks of New York, you could be seeing some rain as well. Now, in day 2, those severe storms that are going to be in Minnesota and Wisconsin, they're going to be producing lots of heavy showers, which will make sense that we are going to be having, quite the rain, which is why they issued a slight risk for excessive rainfall. And then day 3, it's only, marginal risk for excessive rainfall. There could potentially be a, confined risk within any of these areas. which is very possible. Day 4, it's kind of the same thing. There is really no confined risk. However, it is a much bigger risk, so which means that we could even have a better chances, of, a slight risk popping up somewhere, within all of this stuff happening here. All right, now over the next 3 days, we could, some areas over here in the Midwest, Ohio River Valley, and Mid-Atlantic to Northeast, could be seeing the most rain. Now, over here in like Minnesota and Iowa, swaths of 2 to 4 inches are very possible. Same thing with over here around the Great Lakes. Some areas could be up to 3 inches is very possible. Even over here into like the Carolinas, pockets of rain up to 5 inches are very possible as well. Even over here into Virginia, up to 7 inches possible. I'm not sure if we'll see 7 inches in Virginia in this whole pocket over here, but some heavy rain is very possible. And also in like Illinois and Iowa, some swaths of up to 5 inches are very possible. Currently for our drought, we've been having a significant, I wouldn't say significant, but quite the significant drought problems over here in the plains, and some areas could be seeing some severe drought even over here into like places like Montana, Idaho, and North Dakota. That's where a lot of the nation's farming for animals are. So droughts could be a very big problem in Montana and Idaho, and we've been having extreme drought being there. And towards around Chicago and the Great Lakes, we've been having some droughts. And I keep always talking about this, but like metro areas across the East Coast could be seeing some drought as well, and that's still kind of been happening for at least a bit now. Now on to future temperature outlooks. At least for a lot of the country, the cold air is starting to return, so cooler than average temperatures could be possible, and kind of like the Midwest, Northeast type situation, even over in the plains. The southern part of the state still, we're going to be, having, that heat, and even in the Pacific Northwest as well, we are going to be seeing that. And then the 8 to 14 days, so, within up to the next 2 weeks, still, this northeastern portion of the United States is going to be, experiencing cooler than average temperatures. Otherwise, if you live in any other part of this, like the West Coast or the Southern Coast, then you'll probably see, near normal to above average temperatures. Models could be suggesting throughout to the next 3 to 4 weeks is that, most of the country, besides the central part of the country, could be experiencing above higher than average temperatures, unless you're in the plains, northern plains, cooler than average temperatures could also be very possible. And then for precipitation, it's really only around the Great Lakes and Northeast that we could be seeing, below than average temperatures. But if you're really anywhere else across the country, especially the Pacific Northwest, we could be seeing a lot more precipitation than average. Then within the next 8 to 14 days, the chances are much less, but, around the Great Lakes still, we could be seeing lower than average precipitation, but we are starting to have, not much confidence, because you can see that we are near normal. I mean, it is good that we're near normal, but it also could suggest that there's not much confidence within the next 8 to 14 weeks, because, this grain is very light, which means that the chances, are really small for higher than average precipitation, which, we want to try to find out if that's really true or not. So, inaccurate data or, something that we don't know is kind of problematic a little bit. So that will be happening within the next 8 to 14 days. 3 to 4 weeks. Really not much. We're hoping that this is going to stay the same, but it's definitely not. Over here, kind of in the southeastern part of the U.S. or the southwest part, higher, a little bit above than average precip. Unless you're in the plains and Great Lakes, maybe a little bit less than average precipitation. And then most of us around the lower 48 could be seeing near normal average precipitation. At least, hopefully, that's what we're going to be seeing. All right, last part of this weather update video, I'm going to talk about the heat that has been going on, and this is the thing that has been going on for like the past week, almost 2 weeks now in some areas. So as we kind of continue on throughout the day, some areas over here in Oklahoma and Missouri could, reach up to 100 degrees possible, which is going to be very miserable. that I could tell you, because I am a person who does not like the heat. As we do go into the overnight, some areas over here in Missouri could still be up to 80 degrees. And this is actual temperatures, by the way. This is not just regular, um, this is regular temperatures. This is not like heat index. So you got to make sure that. As we go into tomorrow, again, especially along the East Coast now, areas could be up to 100 degrees. And tomorrow, that's when we're going to see, a lot more, higher temperatures than we did, today. Because tomorrow, whenever I'm making this video, which is going to be today, if you're watching this today, if that makes any sense. I don't know. But as we do go into the night, some areas hopefully, could get at least maybe mid to upper 70s, but a lot of areas still could be up right near the 80-degree mark. That's going to be it for today's weather update video. So if you guys want to make sure to see a new one, make sure you guys like and subscribe to get new updates. Potentially share this channel with friends and family as well. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.